Jesus had groups of friends. He had two groups of three. He had Peter, James and John, and then he had Mary, Martha and Lazarus as his kind of two close groups of friends. And then he had the 12, and then he had his kind of disciples, his followers, those 30, 40 who stayed all the way through after his death. And then he had the crowds. You can kind of look at that and go, well, did Jesus play favourites? And it was almost like Martha and Mary and Lazarus were his family that he'd kind of said. I mean, he also had his actual blood family, but they seemed to be the people he went to for rest and to stay with. But Peter, James and John were the three he deeply invested in. They were the leaders that he was calling out for the next thing. The 12, they were part of the 12, so there was another 9 that were being deeply invested in, and then this 30, 40 group that were the key disciples. And, you know, why not take everyone in? Why not teach everyone Jesus? You know, it seems like favouritism, but he's thinking and planning a way forwards. He's building a movement that's going to change the world. And he's seeing the people who are standing up and taking on those roles. And those three, that they're there because they've followed and followed and followed and followed and said yes, 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 yes. I don't think there's anything about them other than their hearts and their obedience that makes them the core team that Jesus has chosen. They've almost chosen themselves by their heart response to Jesus. And kind of their reward is this amazing event we read about today. They're there and they're up on the top of the mountain, and they go up there to pray. And there's this amazing appearance of Jesus in glory, and Moses and Elijah appear, and they woke up to see this. Like, they're up there to pray, but they're asleep. Jesus is praying. What are they doing? Sleep praying? Anyway, so there's all this kind of strange stuff happens, and then this voice from heaven says, "This is my chosen son, listen to what he says." And they didn't talk about this. This is something they kept to themselves. And for me, this is a sign of, as we say yes, yes, yes to Jesus, as we follow him, as we lean in, as we go his way, we get to see greater and bigger than this world. We get to see into a different reality. The world we see is real, but the heavenly realm of God is more real. When we talk about the supernatural, it's more than the natural. There's another realm and there's other stuff going on. And you may say, well, Moses and Elijah, why are dead people up here? That's a bit weird. Moses and Elijah are the two people who in Jewish history, it's believed, didn't actually die. So you might know about Enoch, who walked with God and then was not right at the beginning in Genesis. But Moses, he writes about his own death. He's writing the story of his life, and he tells the story of his own death in Exodus, which doesn't seem to happen. And there's no grave, there's no bones, there's nothing about what happened to Moses, this great leader. And the tradition is that he was taken up to heaven by God at the end of his life. Elijah, clearly in Kings, is taken up on a chariot of fire, for all you rugby fans, up to heaven. And he's taken to God. So these two men who never died come and encourage Jesus, who is going to have to die and then be resurrected. They're the two great guys of the Old Testament, the number one prophet and the number one teacher. And it's just a sign again of how important this Jesus guy is and the awe. So I guess my encouragement to you today is to go, as you say yes to Jesus, are you making time and space for him to give you dreams and visions and experiences and prophetic kind of stuff that I guess you don't need, but that is a real encounter between you and God? As we say yes with our lives, we expect occasionally these encounters to happen. Or maybe you're a person drawn to encounters. Well, as you have these encounters, are they leading you to say yes to Jesus in every area of your life? Whichever comes first, the two are connected. God is calling us through experience, through obedience, into life in all its fullness with Him.